Hi guys, welcome to Escape Wheel Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we are going to be unboxing 4 new releases from Watchdives. You can see we have 2 different types of packaging. I'm not really sure why. This is their new stuff. Maybe they're just trying to get rid of their old stuff too. So I say we get right into it. I'm not sure which watch is which. I have opened the package and just kind of brought these watches out. So I'm going to let's set these 3 off to the side. And we can get into the first package. I do have the website up. This one feels pretty light, so I'm guessing this is their, yes. So this is going to be their vintage 50 Fathoms homage. I'm not sure exactly which one they sent me, but I will obviously do the full review for this thing. These things start at, I believe, $79 US. So this looks like a shiny bezel, so that means a mineral crystal. So yeah, this one is also on their new 19 millimeter elastic strap. Yeah, this thing actually looks really cool. I've never been a big fan of this style of watch, but actually having it in hand here actually looks pretty good. I'm going to pause this video just so I can get all the wrapping on of it, and yeah, we'll get back to it. All right, so here we are. This is the Watchdives WD-50KF. KF is for the mineral glass. FS is for the sapphire glass. So yeah, this is the mineral glass one with a shiny ceramic bezel. I think it looks really good. Obviously a very vintage military inspired diver. Fully bead blasted case there. So they say it is a silver or titanium sandblasted. I think it looks really good. It's very, very smooth. Yeah, it actually looks really good. So I'll get you some dimensions real quick. 40 millimeters at the bezel right on the dot. I do have the sticker on the back still, so take that into account, but 14.2 thick, and that's with the crystal. The big selling point on this one, I think, is the lug to lug. All the other ones are quite long. This one is 48 millimeters, and it does have 19 millimeter lugs, I believe. Yes, 19 millimeter lugs. So yeah, I think it looks really good. The bezel alignment on this thing is just a hair off. The bezel itself seems fine. Nothing great, nothing poor. There's no play or anything in it. The clicks sound a little cheap, but the action on it seems fine. So yeah, I actually think this looks pretty good. I like that case finishing. Looks really good. Plenty of grip on that bezel too. Yeah, 19 millimeter lugs, kind of my big sticking point on this one. I wish they would have just done 20, but I know the original is 19, so and I'm pretty sure most other brands do 19 millimeters as well. So yeah, I do think it looks good. That 48 lug to lug, though, that's going to be a really big selling point for a lot of people that are interested in this style of watch. All right, let's get to the next one. So this looks to be one of their new chronographs. So this is going to be the Watchdives WD1861 it's a VK63 mica quartz. It's going to look very familiar to anyone who's ever seen this style of watch. But yeah, right off the bat, it looks really good. Looks really good. I'm going to pause the video again, get all this plastic off, and I'll give you my impressions. All right, well, that took longer than I expected it to. These things are really wrapped up nicely. So here it is again, the WD16500. Yeah, this thing looks great. I blasted it with a UV torch, and the lume glows very nicely. Right off the bat, I can kind of see a mismatch between the dial color lume and the hand color lume. It's not a huge mismatch, but it is something that I did notice. The alignment on this one looks pretty good. Even back to the lume real quick, the bezel itself is actually lume too, so that's pretty cool. I'll pop up a lume shot of all these watches at the end. But yeah, this one does look pretty good. Let's get some dimensions for you. I believe this is the same size as the Pagani design. 39.5 should be like 12 millimeters thick, 12.2 millimeters thick. 47.7 lug to lug. And total length 50.7. 20 millimeter lugs, looks like it tapers down to 16. The bracelet, I can already tell you, it does feel a little bit nicer than the Pagani design. Pagani design, they got a pretty loose link up here. This one feels pretty solid. The bottom edge feels nice too. Obviously, time will tell how this thing wears. but they do have the normal Watchdives clasp on this thing. It's a milled clasp, it's fine. Plenty of micro adjust there. I'm glad that they didn't go with the clasp that everyone else goes with. These things are always super sharp, and this clasp is not. It's a nice clasp. I haven't had any issues with this style clasp yet, and it gives you plenty of micro adjust too. So I'm pretty happy with that. First impressions are actually pretty good on this thing. Seiko VK63 should be nice. The loom is a big selling point over the Pagani design. Yeah, so far so good. I do really like this thing. Currently this one is $99 US, and then they give you $20 off, so it should be right at $80 US. So yeah, that's pretty nice. All right, so this is the newer packaging that you're going to see, and I'll show you kind of what they give you in the boxes here, because I'm not sure it's been shown yet. So they do give you a bracelet size tool, and this is a metal one, so that's nice. Usually they're just cheap plastic. And then they do give you a pretty nice spring bar tool as well. So yeah, a couple nice bonuses. Usually the spring bar tools that companies send are absolute garbage. So it's nice to see that they're putting a little bit of effort into that aspect of their watches. So I do know what this one is as well. So this is going to be the Watchdives WD1861 If you know that reference number, you're probably going to know what this watch looks like. It's a brand new release from them. Hopefully they sent me the one that I really wanted, and they did not. So one of the drawbacks of you know, being a reviewer, you don't necessarily get to pick the ones that you want every time. So yeah, here is this one here. It actually looks a lot better than I thought it was going to look. I'm going to pause the video and we'll get all the plastic off of it and we'll get back to it. All right, so here we are again. This is the Watchdives WD1861. This is the blue and faux patina. This is, I guess this is dial C. Dial C. There are 4 different dials. I wanted dial A, but they didn't send me that one. Sorry, I wanted dial B, but they didn't send me that one. That's all right. So this one actually looks a lot better in person than I thought the images look. So I was worried about the rehaut depth, and it really doesn't look that bad. Yeah, it actually looks pretty good. I love the bezel insert on this thing, a matte aluminum bezel insert. You do have the loom pip there at the 12 o'clock. Let's check the alignment. Looks to be, again, just a little tiny off. The bezel action. Let's check the bezel action. Seems fine. Again, nothing really impressive with the bezel action, but also not poor either. There's no play or anything like that, so that's nice. And I guess the bezel alignment is good on this one. It was just one click to the right there. The crown action felt really good. NH35 retail price for this is $139. The first couple weeks usually they do have a sale on these things for $30 off. So $109 for this watch. There you can see there's the mid case, and this is another part that I was kind of worried about, but it honestly looks a little better in person than it does in the photos. It was looking pretty thick. It does still look pretty thick compared to some other stuff, but I really don't think it's that bad. Better than the Boltony, I'll say that. We got 40 millimeters at the bezel thickness. Definitely not 19 millimeters thick. Sorry about that. My calipers have been giving me some issues lately. 13.7, 13.8 thick. 20 millimeter lugs, lug tip to lug tip. Let's check that real quick for you guys. Man, this thing is bugging out on me right now. Time to upgrade to some new calipers apparently. 47.2 millimeters. So yeah, pretty much standard. Looks really good though. Yeah, really happy with that. You can see the transitions on the case are really nice and sharp too. Very impressive. Very impressive. I like it. It looks good. The bracelet seems like Watchdives' typical female link bracelet. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit of a hitch here. Not really sure what that is. But the bracelet itself seems to be pretty good. Their typical clasp like you saw before. No issues there. 20 millimeter lugs, tapers down to 16 at the clasp. Yeah, it actually looks pretty good. What do you guys think of that one? Check the loom on it real quick. The loom seems to be pretty good. Again, I'll pop up a loom shot here at the end about what I expect for faux patina. I do believe it's super luminova, so it is pretty good. It's better than something you get from like Pagani or something like that. So yeah, really happy with that. The bezel action sounds a little cheap, but feels pretty good, I think. I really like the dial color on this thing and the bezel color. That looks really, really good. All right, let's get to the last one. This is the one I am most excited about and the one that I have been waiting for the longest. So this is going to be the Watchdives WD1861, and this is their homage to the Speedy. I kind of helped them out with the design on this thing. They bounced some ideas back and forth with me, and yeah, what came out of it was kind of what I had imagined. But obviously they want to improve on this watch even more, so they're hoping they can do that in the future. As long as they sell out all of these watches, I think they're going to go with a version 2 probably. So yeah, let's get into this. I'm going to unwrap this thing and we'll get right to it. All right, so I got it all unwrapped here, and I gotta say I am quite impressed with this one. The dial on this thing is fantastic. Those bowl-shaped subdials are key. They got the right size hands. They got the right layout on this thing. Yeah, it looks really, really good. The bezel insert is aluminum, which is really nice to see, and it is a matte aluminum. It looks really, really good. The bracelet on this thing, they said they upgraded from what the Pagani has. I can tell you right now, it is already better. It is 20 millimeters, and it tapers down to 16 millimeters at the clasp. And just a quick glance for you guys. So here is the Pagani design bracelet on the right. Here's the Watchdives on the left. You can already see the finishing looks to be much better. This one only tapers down to 18 millimeters. You know, I never had a huge issue with the Pagani. I can already tell you the bottom edge of it does feel a little bit nicer on the Watchdives here. But yeah, it just feels like a better bracelet. Yeah, I'm not going to say by how much, but it definitely feels like a better bracelet. I really do appreciate the taper down to 16. That's huge. The watch itself, I shot it with UV, and the loom on it is BGW9 loom, so really happy with that as well. It looks good. Everything feels good and functions as it should. The crystal on this thing is so much better than the one on the Pagani. Really, really happy with the crystal on this thing. There you can see the case sides here. So I think the Pagani has a little bit nicer of a mid case, but I really don't think this one's bad. I was expecting it to be worse than it was, but it actually looks pretty decent. I'm going to grab you some dimensions here. We got 40 millimeters at the bezel, 13.8 thick. Looks to be about 47.6 lug to lug. So yeah, I mean, this one is one that I've been waiting for a very long time, and they look really, really good. They did a good job. Sorry about all the fingerprints, but you can see the transitions on the case. That was one thing that I thought Pagani really screwed up on. They did not do a good job on their case transitions. It was very soft. But yeah, this one, that looks really good. Really good. Nice screw down crown as well. VK63 sapphire crystal. The case back on this thing, interesting choice. Something I noticed, but it keeps it nice and flat on the wrist probably. So yeah, there you go, guys. That is the 4 watches that Watchdives has sent me in. A full review will be in the works for each and every one of these things. I'll probably be starting with this one because I think this is the one that's got the most hype on it. But honestly, these are all, oops, sorry guys, I'm trying to do 2 things at once here. These are all looking and feeling pretty darn nice. About what I expect from Watchdives these days. They're starting to put out some stuff that's, you know, rivaling, definitely rivaling stuff like Suggest when you're talking about something like this. These watches over here are like a step up from what I get from Steel Dive. You know, you're getting good loom, you're getting sapphire, except for this one here. You do have the option for sapphire on that one, but really nice prices. I think the bracelets are definitely an upgrade from what you're getting on Steel Dive. The finishing looks to be excellent as well. These watches, they will be on a sale coming up here. AliExpress, they're doing their big sale. Watchdives, they coincide with it. So yeah, I think if you're looking to save even a little bit more, wait for the sale and pick up some of these watches. Hopefully I can get a review or two done before the sale starts. But yeah, I will be going on vacation here pretty soon, so I'm not sure I can fit that in. But I will do my best, especially for this one. This one's the high one on my list. So yeah, I think that's it for me. I'm going to be starting to throw up some wrist shots and stuff like that. But yeah, I think thanks a lot for watching, guys. And I'll see you in the next one. See ya.